A lot of little bass and bluegills. Oh, nice one. Got him. Fish on. Yep. Fish on. It's a big one. It's a big one. Let me take a seat. I don't flip us. Yep. Backs up a little bit. Oh, this is a good fish. Good hit.
Whoa.
Yeah, they do fight. That is true. He's good size.
Is that a fish behind?
I don't know. Alright guys, gonna be showing you how I clean carp here today. I hear a lot of people always ask me, they're like, what do you do with the carp that you get when you're bow fishing? You can't eat them, can you? Actually, yeah, you can. They're actually pretty good. I'm gonna show you how I prepare them properly so they're actually good to eat, and not something that you would never want to try again. There's a few little tricks that I do. The way I do it is just the way I do it. It's not the only way to do it, but it works well. So I'm going to take the fillet knife here and start kind of right behind the gills, trying to get cut through. Now one thing you'll know about carp is they've got very tough scales. They're almost like a thick toenail or a fingernail. So I'm going to try to cut through those right behind the gills. And once we get that to the top bone along the back, we're going to cut falling along the spine, that backbone there. Just keep cutting down. Cutting down until we get the fillet off here. You feel those rib bones kind of on the bottom. I'm just going to follow the back side of those with the fillet knife. So they have very tough scales and very tough skin, which I don't really mess with. I try not to. Aside from just cutting through, I will remove the skin before I cook these and kind of show what a fillet looks like. So they do have a lot of bones. So they have an extra row of bones. So after you fillet them off, you're still going to have a row of bones here in the meat. So a lot of times I'll bake them in the oven. And when I bake them, I wait until the meat's kind of flaking off the bone and then kind of pick it out. So if you're doing something like fish tacos or something where like some shredded kind of fish is ideal, it works pretty good. When I have a sharp knife, they are pretty slippery, very slippery fish, and they've got some big scales that you got to kind of cut through there, at least to get it started. It's kind of the hard part. Once you get it started, they're not too bad. In some cultures, they actually like the carp skin as part of something to eat, but I do not mess with it. Kind of a funny thing, they're not eaten commonly in the US. A lot of people in the US don't even know that you can eat these, but throughout the world, they're actually a pretty popular food fish. And carp are invasive in the US, but a lot of people don't know they were actually intentionally stocked way back when in the 1800s as a supplemental food fish, thinking people could fish for these as food, as commercial fishing was depleting a lot of our native fish species in the freshwater. But it didn't work out that way. They were never received, or well received as a food fish. A lot of people actually call them kind of a trash fish, and never caught on, and the rest is history. They're kind of a funny fish. They're really hard fighting fish. They're very tough. Even shot with a bow, they still fight like crazy. And actually in England, they're like the #1 sport fish in the UK. They don't even eat them. They do catch and release and try to protect them. It's kind of a bizarre thing, especially for somebody from the US to hear that. So We got our second fillet. We got our 2 carp fillets side by side. The remainder of the fish, that's a lot of fish. The guts, I don't touch the guts at all. The head, the tail, all that stuff goes in the trash. Or it's an outstanding fertilizer for your garden and that sort of thing. So this, I believe this portion right here is where I think a lot of people mess up. And then if they ever did try carp, or they hear stories that carp is just a terrible fish to eat. So if you see here, you've got these lateral lines down the middle on each side of the fillet. That dark meat's got a really strong flavor that is not very good. So that's not what you want to eat. You got to remove that lateral line in any of the dark meat. It varies from fish to fish, what water it comes from, the size of the fish. Sometimes it's got a very wide lateral line where most of it is that super dark red meat there, or it's got a very narrow one, and you kind of don't really know until you get to fillet it. But you want to remove all that. I've heard of some people using it for catfish bait, things like that. You can use it for bait. You can cook it up for your pets, dogs and cats, things like that will love it. But as far as humans go, that's not what we want to eat. And if you try cooking it with that dark meat in there, you will think that it's probably, you know, not fit to eat. So what I do is I take my fillet knife and just cut through the meat. You feel the skin on the back side, and don't cut through the skin on the back side. Just cut through your fillet here down the middle. Now, once you get to the skin, you cut away from that lateral line. There's your good carp fillet on the top on one side. So it looks very skinny, the cuts of meat that you end up with, because you're cutting out that middle piece there. And in doubt, I just remove it and don't cook it. If it's nice lighter color meat, then it's perfect. There you go, I did a little better job there getting right on the skin and cutting that off. So some of this I may even trim up on here. You see a little bit of dark red there. I'll remove that just to be on the safe side, so it's not poor tasting to anybody that has a bite. The other orange is okay, kind of orangey, a little bit red's okay, but the lighter the meat, the better the flavor is going to be for what you see there in the carp. So I'll put them in the bowl, and that's our fillet bowl. There are still bones in there, especially on that top fillet, because they got additional layer of bones. But when you cook that in the oven, what you'll see, that just flakes right off. So here we got a little bit more meat we can get off here. Actually, that's a kind of a layer of bone. We'll call that waste, and we'll put that with the rest. Now we'll go on to our next. I'll cut that dark meat off there. We're going to cut along our fillet, cutting out that lateral line. You know, all fish species have that lateral line. It's just, in a lot of fish, I believe they cut it out, even on salmon and things like that. But just on carp, it's got a real strong flavor that is not, a lot of people don't care for it. Me being one of them, when you leave the lateral line in. Did that one time just to kind of see. I mean, it's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to be appetizing. These top fillets, though, are delicious. I've had people, you know, that have never tried carp before, not even know what type of fish it is. I've even had people that have tried carp before and said this is the best that they've ever had, just by taking the care, removing all the skin, removing any of the dark meat. It's a full flavor, good fish. Works really well for tacos and things like that. But you see right here, you got those really kind of long, skinny fillets, just kind of removing anything that may not have the best flavor. So a little bit of red, a little chunk of red, and you kind of just got to look at it, just kind of eyeball it, and when in doubt, just trim it out. There's no limit on carp. They are plentiful. You can catch them just about anywhere. Very few people fish for them, and There's no shortage of them, that's for sure. So if you're in doubt, and this fish here is a really good example, looking at these fillets, of just how in the exact same body of water, fishes in the similar size, not far from each other at all, can have huge variations in the meat. You see how white this meat is here? And that real tiny lateral line and just a little bit of red by the tail. This means it's going to be a really good eating fish. If you have ones like this is ideal, what you want. Some of the others, there isn't nearly as much good meat on there. But this is what you like to see when you're filleting a carp, if you get a nice looking fillet like that. Alright, I got my fillets trimmed up here. Went through, trimmed any meat that would not be good to eat. Did the final trimming, pat dry with a paper towel. Add a little bit of salt and pepper. Got it on our baking sheets here. We're going to go ahead and put it in the oven. Preheated to 400 degrees. Once it's nice and flaky, then we're going to be done. So there we go, 400 degrees. So here we are for the taste test of our carp. I'm going to take a bite, and I'm with a certified picky eater here who is also going to try a bite and let us know what she thinks. So when it's flaking away, you can flake it off and use it for any like carp cakes or tacos, things like that, or you can just eat it plain. But once it's flaking, it's good. I'm going to go ahead, take a bite. Delish. Delicious.
That's pretty good.
You think it's good?
Yeah.
Give it 2 thumbs up? Alright, thanks for watching, guys.